My name is David. I am 39 years old. I live in a small house with my wife and my daughter. My wife's name is Laura. We have been married for 15 years. Our daughter Lily is 14 now. Life is usually quiet, simple, normal. At least that is what I thought. I work every day. I leave the house early in the morning. I come home in the evening. I feel tired, but I feel okay. I do it for my family. I do it for my wife and my daughter. Laura does not work. That was her choice. I was okay with it. I told myself, it's fine. I can take care of us. I believed that. We have a system for money. Every month, I give both of us some personal money. It is about $1,000 each. This money is for small things: coffee, clothes, going out, little fun things. No questions, no problems. It felt fair. It felt simple. At first, everything was okay. Laura used her money for shopping, small gifts, and going out with friends. I did not ask much. I trusted her. I really trusted her. But some months ago, I started to notice something strange. Laura often said, "I'm broke." She said it again and again. When we went out to eat, she sometimes looked uncomfortable. Sometimes she said, "Can you pay this time?" I did not think too much at first. I thought maybe she just spent a little more that month. But it kept happening, again and again. I felt confused. I felt a little worried. I do not spend much money. I drink coffee sometimes, but I usually sit in one place and work there. I do not buy expensive things, so I still had money left every month. But Laura always said she had nothing left. One evening, we went to a small restaurant near our house. It was quiet. Soft music was playing. Lily stayed home that night because she had homework. It was just me and Laura. We finished eating. The waiter brought the bill. I looked at Laura. She looked at me. Then she smiled a little and said, "Can you get this one?" I paid, but something inside me felt strange. I could not ignore it anymore. On the way home, I kept thinking, "Where is her money going?" I asked myself again and again, "What is happening?" When we got home, I sat down on the couch. Laura went to the kitchen. I could hear the sound of water, plates, cups, normal sounds. But my mind was not calm. My mind was loud. I called her. "Laura, can we talk?" She came and sat next to me. She looked relaxed. She looked normal. Maybe too normal. I took a deep breath. "I want to ask you something," I said. She nodded. "Okay." I looked at her face. "You often say you are broke, but we both get the same personal money. I don't spend much, so I still have some left, but you don't. Where is your money going?" She was quiet for a moment. Just a moment. Then she smiled. That smile made me feel strange. It was not a sad smile. It was not a worried smile. It was almost happy. "I've been helping my mom," she said. I blinked. "Helping your mom?" She nodded again. "Yeah, she needs money. Things are hard for her right now." I knew her mother. I knew her situation. I knew her past. And when Laura said that, something inside me felt tight. "How much money?" I asked. She looked down for a second. Then she said, "Sometimes a few hundred, sometimes more." My heart beat faster. "Every month?" She shrugged a little. "Yeah, kind of." I felt shocked. I felt angry. I felt confused. "Laura," I said slowly, "your mom has had money problems for years." She looked at me again. "I know." "She drinks," I said. "She gambles. She makes bad choices." Laura's smile became smaller, but it did not disappear. "She's still my mom." I felt heat in my chest. I felt my hands getting tight. "But you are using your money to support that," I said. "That's not helping. That's making it worse." She crossed her arms. "It's my money." "Yes," I said, "but it affects us. It affects our family." She shook her head. "No, it doesn't. It's my personal money. We agreed on that. I can use it how I want." Her words were simple, but they hit me hard. I looked at her again, and then I saw it. That small smile again, that calm face. I felt something break inside me. "Can you stop smiling like that?" I said suddenly. "This is not funny." She looked surprised. "I'm not laughing." "But you're smiling," I said. My voice was louder now. "Like this is okay. Like this is normal." She stood up. "I am calm, that's all." I stood up too. My heart was racing. My head was full. "It's not okay," I said. "Your mom is in this situation because of her choices, and now you are giving her money every month like nothing is wrong." Laura looked at me with cold eyes. "She's my mother. I will not leave her." I felt angry. I felt very angry. "And what about us?" I asked. "What about our daughter?" "We are fine," she said. But I did not feel fine. Not at all. I looked at her again. That same small smile was still there, and I could not understand it. I could not accept it. "Please," I said, my voice tight, "stop smiling like that. This is serious." She did not answer, and in that moment, I knew something had changed. Something in our marriage felt different. I felt it clearly. I felt it deeply. I sat down again. My head was heavy. My chest felt tight. I trusted her. For many years I trusted her. But now I felt confused. I felt hurt. I felt unsure. And I did not know what would happen next. I could not sleep that night. I lay in bed and stared at the ceiling. The room was dark and quiet, but my mind was not quiet. My mind was loud. Very loud. I kept thinking about Laura's smile. That calm, small smile when she talked about her mom. I felt confused. I felt angry. I felt tired. Next morning, I woke up early. I made coffee like always. The house felt normal, but it did not feel normal to me anymore. Something had changed inside me. Laura was still sleeping. Lily was getting ready for school. I helped her pack her bag. She looked at me and said, "Dad, are you okay?" I smiled a little. "Yes, I'm okay." But I was not okay. After Lily left, I sat in the kitchen alone. I kept thinking, what should I do? What is the right thing? I did not want to fight with Laura. I did not want drama. I wanted peace. But I also wanted truth. When Laura came down later, she looked normal again. She was wearing soft clothes, hair tied back. She poured herself coffee like nothing happened. I watched her quietly. She looked at me and said, "Morning." "Morning," I said back. There was silence. I finally spoke. "Laura, we need to talk again." She sighed a little. "About what?" I felt my chest tighten again. "About your mom, about the money." She sat down slowly. "David, I already told you." "I know," I said, "but I need to understand more." She looked at me like she was tired of it already. "It's my money. I help my mom. That's it." I nodded slowly. "But it's not just that." She frowned. "What do you mean?" I tried to stay calm. I really tried. "You say you are broke all the time," I said, "but you are sending money out. Then I end up paying more when we go out. It affects me too. It affects Lily too." Laura looked away. "It's not that much." I shook my head. "It is something. It adds up." She crossed her arms again. "So what do you want me to do? Let my mom suffer?" I paused. That question hit me. I lowered my voice. "I don't want anyone to suffer. But your mom has a long history of problems. You know that. Drinking, gambling, bad decisions." Laura's face changed a little. "She is still my mother." "I know," I said softly, "but helping her money again and again has never fixed anything." Silence came again. I could hear the clock on the wall. Tick, tick, tick. Then Laura said something that surprised me. "She called me last night," she said. I looked up. "She did?" Laura nodded. "She was crying." I felt a small twist in my stomach. "What did she say?" "She said she might lose her apartment," Laura said. "She said she has no food." I leaned back in my chair. I did not answer right away. Laura continued. "She sounded really bad, David. Really, really bad." I felt something soft in me, but also something hard. I knew this pattern. I had heard similar stories before, many times. I said slowly, "Did you send her money again?" Laura looked at me for a second. Then she nodded. "Yes." I closed my eyes for a moment. "How much?" I asked. 500, she said quietly. That number hit me harder than I expected. I opened my eyes. "Laura, that's a lot." She shrugged. "It's my money." I felt my voice rise a little. "But it's not just about your money anymore. It changes everything in our home." She stood up. "You don't understand. You have your job. You have your routine. I just want to help my mom." I stood up too. "I do understand. But helping someone doesn't mean you keep giving them money when it never changes anything." She looked at me with frustration now. "So what? I just stop helping her?" I felt stuck. I did not want to say yes, but I also did not want this to continue like this. "I don't know," I said honestly, "but this situation is not working." Laura looked away again. She was quiet for a long time. Then she said softly, "You are making me feel bad for helping my own mother." I felt my chest tighten again. That's not what I want. But I knew it was starting to feel like that between us. She walked out of the kitchen without finishing her coffee. I stayed there alone again. I felt tired. I felt heavy. I felt like I was losing control of something I did not fully understand. Later that day, I tried to act normal. I went to work. I answered emails. I talked to people. But inside, I kept thinking about Laura's face. That calm face. That small smile. That strong feeling that she believed she was doing the right thing, no matter what. At night, things got worse. When I came home, Laura was on the couch. She looked upset this time. Not calm, not smiling. I asked, "What happened?" She said, "My mom called again." I felt my stomach drop a little. "And?" Laura's voice shook. "She said things are getting worse." I sat down slowly. This was the moment I started to realize something deeper. This was not just about money anymore. It was about something emotional, something stuck, something repeating, and I did not know how to stop it. I sat down across from Laura and stayed quiet for a moment. The house was dark except for the small light in the living room. Lily was in her room doing homework. Everything felt normal outside, but inside me, nothing felt normal. Laura was holding her phone tightly. Her hands were shaking a little. I asked softly, "What did your mom say this time?" Laura took a long breath. She said she might get kicked out in a few weeks. I rubbed my face with my hand. I felt stress. I felt pressure. Did she give any proof? Any bills? Anything real? Laura looked at me. "Why are you asking like that?" I stayed calm. "Because this happens before, many times." She did not answer right away. She just looked down. Then she said, "You think she is lying?" I felt stuck again. I did not want to say yes, but I also did not want to pretend. "I think she is always in trouble," I said slowly. "And every time, we send money and nothing changes." Laura stood up. "You don't understand her life." I stood up too, but I kept my voice low. "And you don't see the pattern." She turned away from me. "I just helped her, that's all." I felt my chest tight again. "But it is not just that. It is every month now." Laura walked a few steps in the room. She looked upset, not calm anymore. Her face was different. No smile now, just stress. "I feel like you are controlling me," she said. That sentence hit me hard. I shook my head. "I am not controlling you. I am trying to protect our home." She laughed a little, but it was not a happy laugh. "Protect? From my own mother?" I felt my voice rise a little without meaning to. "From losing balance in our life." We both stopped talking for a moment. Silence filled the room again. Then Laura said something quieter. "She cried on the phone," she said. "She said she is alone." I looked at her. I felt something soft again inside me, but also something heavy. "I understand she is alone," I said, "but money is not fixing that loneliness." Laura sat back down slowly. "So what should I do then?" I hesitated. I did not have a perfect answer. I felt that truth clearly. I said, "I think we need limits." She looked at me fast. "Limits?" "Yes," I said. "Not giving every time she asks. Not using all your money." Laura shook her head. "She will hate me." I felt tired. "Maybe she will." But right now, she depends on you too much." Laura's eyes became watery. "I did not expect that." She whispered, "She is my mother, David." I softened my voice. "And I know you love her." She wiped her eyes quickly. "You don't understand what it feels like." I sat back down. "Then help me understand." For a moment, she said nothing. Then she said something I did not expect. "When I was younger," she said, "she was not always like this. She had good days. She laughed. She cooked. She took care of me sometimes." Her voice got quieter. "But then things changed," she continued, "and I feel like if I don't help her now, I'm leaving her behind completely." I listened. I stayed quiet. I could see this was not just logic for her. It was emotion, deep emotion. I said slowly, "I understand that feeling, but helping should not destroy your own life too." She looked at me. Her face was tired now. "I don't want to be a bad daughter," she said. I answered gently, "You are not a bad daughter, but you are overwhelmed." That word made her pause. We sat there for a long time without speaking. Later that night, I checked our bank summary again. I don't usually do that, but I needed to understand the pattern fully. I saw it clearly. Hundreds of dollars. Again and again. Small gaps in our normal spending. Food bills I paid. Her saying, "I'm broke," at the end of each month. It all connected now. I felt frustrated. I felt worried. I felt exhausted. The next morning, things got worse. Laura was already awake before me. She was sitting at the kitchen table, staring at her phone again. I asked, "Did something happen?" She did not look at me at first. Then she said, "She needs more money." I felt my stomach drop again. "More?" I asked. Laura nodded slowly. "She says she needs it today." I leaned on the counter. I felt pressure building in my head. I said carefully, "Laura, we need to stop this cycle." She looked up quickly. "So I should just ignore her?" I shook my head. "No, but we cannot fix everything every time with money." She stood up again. Her voice became sharp now. "You don't get it. She is suffering." I answered back, still trying to stay calm, but I was shaking inside. "And we are also starting to suffer in our own way." That sentence made her stop. For the first time, she did not respond immediately, but I could feel something changing between us. Not a solution, not agreement, just tension building higher and higher. And I had a bad feeling that this was not the end of it. It was only getting deeper. That day felt different from the morning. Even the air in the house felt heavy. Laura did not talk much. I did not talk much either. We moved around the house like two people who were trying not to touch a wound. I went to work, but I could not focus. I kept thinking about her words. "She needs more money today." It repeated in my head again and again. At lunch, I sat alone and stared at my phone. I wanted to call Laura, but I did not know what to say anymore. I felt stuck. I felt tired. I felt worried. Around afternoon, Laura texted me, "Can we talk later without fighting?" I looked at that message for a long time. I replied, Yes. That evening, I came home early. Lily was not home yet. The house was quiet again. Laura was waiting for me in the living room. She looked serious. No smile, no calm face, just tension. She said, "I did not send her more money." I nodded slowly. "Okay." She continued, "But she is very upset." I sat down across from her. "I understand that." Laura rubbed her hands together. She said, "I am changing." She said, "I am becoming like you." I felt a sharp pain in my chest when she said that. I asked, "What does that mean?" Laura looked at me. She said, "You are controlling me." I exhaled slowly. "I am not controlling you." She shook her head. "That's what I told her, but she keeps saying it." There was silence again. Then Laura said quietly, "She said I should not listen to you about money." I felt my stomach tighten. I asked carefully, "And what do you think?" She did not answer immediately. That silence felt very long. Finally, she said, "I don't know anymore." That was the first time she said that. I leaned forward a little. "Laura, I am not your enemy. I am your husband." She looked down. "I know." "But this situation is hurting us," I said. "Slowly, but it is." She nodded slightly, but I could see she was still emotionally pulled in another direction. "I feel guilty," she said softly. "When I don't send her money, I feel like I am leaving her alone." I tried to choose my words carefully. "Feeling guilty does not always mean you are doing something wrong," I said. "Sometimes it means you are changing a long habit." She looked at me. Her eyes were tired. "I hate this feeling," she said. I said, "I know." We sat in silence again. Then she asked something that surprised me. "Do you think my mom is using me?" I paused. I did not want to hurt her, but I also did not want to lie. I said slowly, "I think your mom is used to you helping, and she knows you will." Laura looked away. Her face changed. It looked like she was trying not to cry. "I don't want to think that," she said. "I know," I answered gently. Just then, Lily came home. She walked into the house and looked between us. She immediately noticed the mood. "What's wrong?" she asked. Laura quickly wiped her face and tried to smile. "Nothing, sweetheart." But Lily is not a small child anymore. She looked at me, then at her mom again. "It does not look like nothing," Lily said quietly. I felt my chest tighten. I did not want her in this. I said, "Lily, go rest. We will talk later." She hesitated, but went to her room. After she left, Laura suddenly stood up. "I cannot do this anymore," she said. I looked at her. "Do what?" "This pressure," she said. "This feeling that I am choosing between you and my mom." I stood up too. "It is not about choosing sides." She shook her head strongly. "It feels like it." Her voice started shaking now. "When I say I want to help her, you get upset. When I don't, she cries. I am stuck in the middle." I felt helpless listening to her. I said, "We need boundaries, not sides." But she was already emotional. I gave her money again today, she suddenly said. I froze. You said you didn't, I said quietly. She looked down. I know, I changed my mind. I felt a wave of frustration and sadness at the same time. Laura, I said. She raised her hand. Please don't start. I stopped. She sat back down, her voice softer now. She said she had no food, Laura said. She said she was shaking. I could not ignore it. I sat down slowly again. My mind was spinning. I said, And did anything change after you sent it? She did not answer. That silence was the answer. I leaned back and closed my eyes for a moment. I am not angry at you for caring, I said, but I am scared of where this leads. Laura whispered, I don't know where this leads either. That was the most honest thing she had said so far. Later that night, I could not sleep again. I went to the kitchen and drank water slowly. The house was silent. I kept thinking about Lily, about Laura, about the money, about the cycle. And then I realized something uncomfortable. This was not just about helping a parent. It was about emotional control, guilt, habit, and fear. And I was starting to see that Laura was not fully free in this situation either. She was trapped in something deeper than money. And I did not know how to pull her out of it without breaking everything else. The next few days felt heavy in our home. Nobody was yelling, but the silence itself felt loud. Laura and I talked very little. When we did talk, it was only small words like, okay, yes, or I'm going out. It felt like we were walking carefully around broken glass. I started to notice something else too. Laura was checking her phone all the time. Every sound made her look up. Every message made her tense. I felt sad watching her. I felt worried. I felt tired too. One evening, I came home and found her sitting alone at the kitchen table again. The lights were dim. Her shoulders were low. She did not even look at me at first. Then she said, She called again. I already knew who she was. I asked quietly, What now? Laura rubbed her forehead. She says she is going to a shelter. I felt my chest tighten. I said, Did she ask for money again? Laura nodded slowly. I leaned on the counter and closed my eyes for a moment. Everything was repeating again. The same story, the same pressure, the same urgency. But this time, something inside me felt different. Not anger, not just frustration, more like clarity. I sat down across from her. Laura, I said gently, I want you to listen to me fully. She looked at me, tired eyes. I am listening, she said. I took a slow breath. We cannot keep doing this cycle. It is not helping her. It is not helping us. She whispered, But if I stop, she has nothing. I shook my head. That is not true. She has other choices, but she keeps relying on you because it is easier. Laura looked down. It feels cruel to stop. I nodded. I know it feels cruel, but sometimes stopping a harmful pattern is not cruelty. It is reality. She did not answer. I continued. Every time you send money, she survives another week, but nothing changes in her life. And then she comes back again, and you feel guilty again, It never ends." Laura's eyes filled with tears now. "I just want her to be okay," she said softly. I felt my voice soften too. "I know, but you cannot carry her whole life." There was a long silence. Then she said something very quiet. "I don't know who I am if I don't help her." That sentence stayed in the air. I looked at her carefully. That was the real problem. Not just money, not just her mother, but identity, guilt, fear. I said slowly, "You are still her daughter, even if you don't send money every time." She shook her head slightly. "It doesn't feel like that." We sat there for a long time. Then I said, "I want us to try something different." She looked up. I continued, "We set a limit, a small amount only, once a month. No more emergency sending. If she truly needs help, she can go to real services, not only us." Laura looked nervous. "She will hate me." I answered, "She may be angry, but anger is not danger." Laura wiped her face. "I am scared," she admitted. I nodded. "Me too. But I think if we don't change this, we will lose our peace, slowly, every month." That night, we did not fully agree. But something shifted. It was not fixed, not solved. But it was the first time we both looked at the same problem instead of fighting each other. A few days later, Laura called her mother. I was in the next room, but I could hear parts of the conversation. Her voice was shaking at first. "I can't keep sending money like before." Long pause. Then I heard her mother's voice rise, angry and loud, even through the phone. Laura stayed quiet for a long time. Then she said, "I love you, but I have to change this." There was more shouting. Then silence. After the call, Laura sat on the couch and stared at nothing. Her face was pale. Her hands were shaking. She whispered. She hung up. I sat next to her. She looked at me with tears. "I feel like I did something wrong," she said. I said softly, "You did something hard, not wrong." She leaned forward and cried quietly. Not loud crying, just tired crying, like she had been holding it for years. I stayed with her without saying much. I realized something in that moment. This was not a clean ending. There was no perfect solution. But there was a direction. Slowly, we were trying to stop a cycle that had controlled our lives for a long time. Weeks passed after that. Things were still not easy. Laura still got calls, still felt guilt, still struggled. But she did not send money the same way anymore. Some days were better, some days were hard. But the constant pressure started to reduce little by little. One evening, I saw Laura sitting with Lily, talking normally, even laughing a little. It was small, but it felt real. Later that night, Laura came to me. She said, "I think I understand now. I was trying to save her alone, but I was also losing myself." I nodded. "You were carrying too much." She leaned her head on my shoulder. "I am still scared," she said. "I know," I replied. But for the first time in a long time, the house felt a little lighter. Not perfect, but lighter. And I understood something important. Sometimes love is not only about giving. Sometimes love is about setting limits so everyone can survive in a healthier way. And sometimes the hardest person to help is someone you love who is stuck in their own cycle. Moral lesson: helping someone does not mean destroying yourself. Real support needs balance, boundaries, and truth.